Meet Mike and Kenji. They are both 32 years old. They live in the same city, and they both earn exactly the same salary, $60,000 a year. Mike looks successful. He drives a leased luxury sedan, upgrades his iPhone every September, and eats out 5 times a week. But Mike is drowning. He has zero savings, $12,000 in credit card debt, and he panics every time the rent is due. He is chasing loud wealth, looking rich but being broke. Then there is Kenji. Kenji rides a bicycle. He packs a lunch. He wears high-quality clothes that he's owned for 5 years. To the outside world, Kenji looks average, but Kenji has 6 months of expenses in cash, a growing investment portfolio, and zero debt. He is building quiet wealth. The difference isn't how much they make, it's how they think. Kenji uses 10 specific Japanese habits that have been passed down for generations, habits that turn average incomes into massive fortunes. And today, we are going to steal them. Habit number 1 is motonai. If you translate this directly, it means, what a waste. But the feeling behind it is much deeper. It's a sense of regret when something valuable is wasted without being utilized to its full potential. In Mike's world, when a shirt gets a small tear, he tosses it and buys a new one. When the bananas go brown, they hit the trash. That is the opposite of motonai. A practitioner of motonai sees everything as a resource. Vegetable peels aren't trash. They are the base for a soup stock. An old t-shirt isn't garbage, it's a cleaning rag. This mindset shift saves you thousands of dollars over a lifetime because you aren't constantly paying for replacements. You respect the money you've already spent by extracting every ounce of value from it. When you stop throwing things away, you stop throwing money away. Habit number 2 is the secret weapon of Japanese housewives, kakeibo. Pronounced kakeibo, this is a budgeting system invented in 1904 by Japan's first female journalist. And here's the kicker. It requires a pen and paper. In an age of automated apps that track your spending for you, Kakeibo demands that you write it down manually. Why? Because automation makes spending abstract. When you swipe a card, it doesn't feel like pain. But when you sit down at the end of the day and physically write Starbucks $7, in a ledger, your brain processes the loss. Kakeibo asks you 4 questions. How much money do I have? How much would I like to save? How much am I spending? How can I improve? It turns budgeting from a chore into a meditation. It forces you to confront your bad habits face to face every single day. Habit number 3, quality over quantity. Japan is famous for its craftsmanship. Whether it's a kitchen knife, denim, or furniture, the focus is on longevity. The Mike approach is to buy a $30 pair of shoes that falls apart in 3 months, forcing him to buy another pair. Over 5 years, he buys 20 pairs. The Japanese approach is to buy one $100 pair of boots that lasts several years. Yes, the upfront cost is higher, but the cost per use is drastically lower. This is how you build quiet wealth. You stop the cycle of constant consumption. You buy it once, you buy it right, and you never think about it again. You are curating a life of assets, not a landfill of liabilities. Habit number 4, hara hachibu. Now you might be thinking, what does eating have to do with my bank account? Everything. Overconsumption of food is a double tax on your wealth. First, you pay more at the grocery store or restaurant for food you don't actually need. Second, overeating leads to long-term health issues, which are the biggest wealth destroyers in existence. By adopting hara hachibu, you naturally reduce your grocery bill, you reduce food waste, and you protect your future self from medical debt. It is a philosophy that says enough is better than more. Habit number 5, embrace small living spaces. In the West, we judge success by square footage. We buy McMansions with 4 guest bedrooms we never use, then we fill those empty rooms with junk we buy on credit, and then we pay to heat and cool that empty air. In Japan, density forces efficiency, but it's also a choice. Living in a smaller space forces you to be an editor of your own life. You can't impulse buy a treadmill if you have nowhere to put it. This drastically cuts your two biggest expenses, housing and utilities. If you can be happy in 800 square feet instead of 2,500, you just freed up hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime to invest. Habit number 6 is surprising for such a high-tech country. Cash is king. Studies show that the pain centers in our brain light up when we hand over physical cash. It hurts a little bit. When we swipe a credit card or wave a phone, that pain doesn't register. Despite having robots and bullet trains, Japan is still heavily cash-based. Why? Because cash creates friction. By using cash for daily expenses, you create a psychological speed bump. You see the money physically leaving your wallet. It makes you second-guess that impulse buy at the convenience store. If you want to stop bleeding money, cut up the cards and go to the ATM. Habit number 7. Seasonal living. Japanese culture is obsessed with seasons, but this isn't just poetic, it's economic. Eating seasonally means you are buying food when it is at its peak supply, which means it is at its lowest price. Buying strawberries in winter is expensive and they taste terrible. Buying them in spring is cheap and delicious. This applies to goods too. The Japanese align their consumption with nature's cycles. They don't fight the market. By flowing with the seasons, eating what is abundant, buying clothes off-season, adjusting your home's temperature naturally rather than blasting the AC, you are hacking the supply and demand curve to keep money in your pocket. Habit number 8, focused savings goals. Many people save vaguely. They just put money in a savings account and hope for the best. That money usually gets raided for a vacation or a new TV. In Japan, it is common to have multiple accounts or envelopes for specific life events. Education, housing, emergencies, even travel. When you name your money, you give it a purpose. It's harder to steal money from your child's college fund to buy a pizza than it is to steal from a generic savings pot. This targeted approach gives you psychological momentum. You aren't just hoarding cash, you are building pillars for your future life. Habit number 9, intergenerational wisdom. In the West, money is often a taboo topic at the dinner table. In Japan, financial literacy is often observed and passed down. Children watch their parents practice kakebo. They hear their grandparents talk about the hardships of the past and the value of security. This is how old money is built. Not by getting lucky with crypto, but by passing down the software of wealth management to the next generation. If you want to build a dynasty, you have to teach your kids that money is a tool, not a toy. You have to normalize the conversation so they don't make the same mistakes you did. And finally, habit number 10. This is the most important one. Finding value in non-monetary wealth. The ultimate goal of the Japanese frugal mindset isn't just to have a big bank account. It is to realize that the best things in life really are free. Community, nature, skill building, peace of mind. If your happiness depends on spending money, you will be a slave to your job forever. But if you can find joy in a walk through the park, in a conversation with a friend, in reading a library book, you become financially invincible. You lower your cost of happiness. And once your cost of happiness is low, your ability to save becomes high. That is the essence of quiet wealth. So let's go back to Mike and Kenji. Mike is running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. He thinks he needs more income to solve his problems. Kenji knows that income is vanity, but savings are sanity. You don't need to move to Tokyo to apply these. Start with Motinai, stop wasting. Start a Kakebo journal tonight. Buy one quality item instead of 5 cheap ones. And realize that enough is a decision, not a number. Which of these 10 Japanese habits are you going to try this week? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on building wealth quietly. I'll see you in the next one.